That then we'll talk about that in our next segment. But so the golden retriever, just wrapping it out, we talked about the size. We talked about the positives. It's a wonderful dog. It's going to need some daily exercise out there. Not a lot, but moderate exercise, going for walks, throwing the ball around. It's not going to get all the exercise it needs to within your house or anything. Like a lot of the small dogs, you can get away with that. But this guy needs to get outside, needs to run around a little bit. Not anything crazy amount. Go for the walk with you or the run. If you're a runner, this is going to be a great breed for you. But realize it's got that shedding aspect, so you're going to have that regular brushing, and about every week you're going to go through the fermentation treatment where it's just a brush, and you're going to comb down your dog to keep that at a minimum, and realize that good nutrition is good for a lot of different things, and in this case, it will actually reduce the shedding.
Cool.
So that's the golden retriever.
The golden retriever, the breed of the week. There's one at Petland of Iowa City, at least at time of recording this. Yep. And the doodles that we mentioned too, I know you get those too. I don't know if you have any now, but you do get those.
Going to get more golden retrievers here in the near future, and then more doodles in January. I guess we're in January now, but a little later on in this month, we're going to have some more golden doodles. We had a bunch of them, and I kind of overdid it. And so I had to back off a little bit. My counselors are saying, hey, you got too many of them in here. I think I had 5 at one point.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. And so there's a lot of people that have some really cool golden doodles right now.
Nice.
So we'll have some later on in this month.
All right. So that is the breed of the week. It's the golden retriever. And onward now to resolutions. This is the topic because it makes sense. It's the brand new year, and a lot of people are thinking about ways to improve themselves. And one way you can reduce stress in your life is to have a dog that obeys and does the things you want them to do. So we're going to talk about that. A dog that pees on things that you don't want them to can be very frustrating. And this might be the year that you say, I am done with that. It's time for a resolution. We're going to fix this problem. You guys can help, right?
Yeah, we're going to fix it in a positive way. And what we want to do is set the foundation today. So we will talk more in detail about potty training or about barking or about biting and all that. But today I wanted to set the foundation for all of your training. And so this is the first step in the whole process. And it is, I find training fun. I don't know if I'm odd or what on that, but I enjoy working with our dogs and helping them in a positive way to learn new things.
It's a good way to get the kids involved too, if you have kids. Right?
Yeah. In the store, as soon as I start talking about training, the kids' ears perk right up. As soon as I say, hey, all of our puppies go home with the DVD where you get to watch how to train the dog, they're like going, where's the DVD?
Yeah.
I want to go.
That reminds me, when I was a kid, I had the yellow lab Bandit, and he was my best buddy. We did everything together, and I taught him to play football in the basement, and he actually learned that he was supposed to get to the couch with the ball.
Nice. And
I would tackle him literally, like, and he was, that's kind of a boy thing to do, is, tackle the dog, and obviously try not to hurt him. But I thought it was just so cool that he learned how to do that, and he knew where he was supposed to get. So he'd try and trick me and go the other way and jump and he would try his hardest to get to the couch, and then he would score or whatever. And I just thought it was so fun. And I also taught him to do sit, paw, and lay down. Never got any further than that, but I've seen some people with really well-trained dogs that do a lot of cool stuff, like roll over and that type of thing.
Yeah, and those are the fun extracurricular kind of things. Roll over, play dead.
Mm-hmm.
Both our dogs, if I go bang, they'll roll over with.
Do they really?
Up. Yeah. And sometimes you have to work with them a little bit in the front end to get them to stop, because they'll roll all the way over, which is kind of funny. And to get them to stop, I have to work with them a little bit, and then they go, okay, yeah, I remember this one.
It's impressive too. I've seen people that have a treat and they'll put it on the dog's nose.
Yes,
and the dog just sits there and waits till you give it the command, and then it just flips it up and eats it. And I always think that's got to be tough, because how do you train a dog to not eat a treat or hang on to it until that's got to take some consistency.
Yeah, that's key with training is consistency, and then frequency is the second thing. Well, starting off the conversation, it's relating with your dog, and you can actually apply a lot of this to your cat as well. And it is, when you talk with people, when you're trying to relate with another person, I have found, and I've been trained through a lot of courses and stuff, that the more I behave like you, like Jay, when I behave more like you, the more you're going to want to do what I'm doing or be part of what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing occurs with dogs and cats, is you got to put yourself in their place. Why would I want to do that? And help, go, oh, okay. For people, we can speak English. We have ways of reinforcing behaviors through language, but through hugs, through flexes in our voice. There's a lot of different ways that we can relate, and that is the difference of humans versus animals and all that kind of stuff. We can communicate at a much higher level. So, but we still can apply that. How do I relate better with my dog so that we do what each other wants, kind of a thing? But we can apply all this to the dog. So for people, we talk and we say, hey, that hurt, or whatever, or here's a positive reinforcer in a different way, and all that kind of stuff. With our dogs, we got to find those same things. So what can we use? Scientifically, it's already been proven out there. More and more studies are coming out showing that here are the number 1, 2, and 3 ways of communicating with your dog. So relating with them, so meeting them on their terms, kind of a thing. So ways to reinforce good behaviors, or behaviors you want to continue to occur. One is food. Food motivation is their number 1 thing. So treats and all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying that you always have to do this. I'm saying on the front end, to get them to understand that this is a good thing, food is a really good one. And it really isn't quantity, it's the taste that gets them going. And so that's one thing. The second thing is tactile engagement, and it's specifically scratching around the jaw area. The studies have found if you scratch the jaw of the dog, whatever, they're being positively reinforced. They like it. And then finally, the second is a voice, something that they relate to being kind. And so, that's where we came up with the good dog kind of a thing. So those 3 things are how we can reinforce behavior. Now, how do you discourage behavior is then the other thing, in a positive way. Again, we can't say we don't like that you peed on the carpet right now. They don't understand that. In fact, if you rub their nose in the poop or the pee, they don't get that either. Realize that poop has some nutritional value. So you equivalently just rub the nose, what you think was in nasty, dirty poop. They looked at it as, oh, you want me to eat the poop because there's some food value in it still? Okay. See, it doesn't even make sense. So the way to relate with a dog and discourage behavior is exactly what Mom Dog did in the litter. And Mom just rolled the puppies over on their back and growled into their chest and, said, hey, that's not what I want you to do. Knock it off, kind of a thing. And the second thing, the way she did it was she did it frequently. So the first time the puppy got rolled over, had no idea what was going on there and said, wow, what was that all about? I didn't like that when she growled into my chest. But she continued to do it every time that puppy engaged in that inappropriate behavior. Maybe it was fighting with another puppy. Maybe it was biting on my ear and I didn't like that, kind of a thing. So it would roll the puppy over, growl into their chest. And the frequency of that is what the puppy then started understanding. Oh, wait, when I bit on the ear really hard like that, she didn't like that and she rolled me over and growled. I am not going to do that again as a result. So how can we simulate that same thing that Mom taught the puppy on the front end? Is by rolling them over. Sometimes I'd usually do it on my lap, chest up or belly up. And then you can put your hand on their chest and just give them you can do any command you want, but it needs to be a little louder, a little boomy. You need to get the base out. That's the base of the dog seems to have played a good impact, meaning that guys have a better, can do this more easily. We just roll them over and go, no, and we get that lower volume out. Ladies, what I have found works best when you go, no, it doesn't quite have the same effect. And we kind of understand it a little bit of intuitively, maybe. But I found out how the ladies can do it is somehow get the lower voice out. One way you can do it is by going, grr. I know that sounds kind of funny. So you can come up with your own thing to get those low tones out, but do a grr or something like that. And usually that works. And it's got to be at a little bit of an elevated. I'm not saying yelling or anything here, but a little bit of a elevated tone. So it's a no or a grr rather than a no, stop, don't do that. You can't, that doesn't work. So you roll them over, put your hand on their chest, not in any hostile ways, just putting your hand firm on their chest and going no or grr. And you do that just like mom did in the litter. And now you're going to start showing them, oh, whenever I do that behavior, she does that to me or he does that to me.
So when they piddle, like right after they do it, you're saying to do that?
Actually, for potty training, there's more effective ways of doing that. So this is more of the biting, the barking,
jumping on you,
the jumping. Maybe there's some other techniques we can talk about how to prevent them from jumping up on you all the time. That's a little more advanced into how to relate with your dog. Why are they jumping up on you? On the first place, and you'll find out it's attention. They want attention. Don't give them attention if they're jumping up on you then, and they'll start learning that that's not an effective way of communicating with you. So the rolling over, the gurring and all that kind of stuff is a nice way to, in general, say, I don't like what you just did. The potty training, just to give you a little tip there, there are better ways of showing them. The positive reinforcement, the treats and all that kind of stuff is so much more effective on getting them to potty outside. Because if you go no in the house, just, I guess you always want to think forward. Well, you don't want me to poop or pee? Well, I can't stop that. So that's kind of kind of the simple thought that they might have. And so doing that in the house, they get confused and saying, well, it's coming out regardless. I can't help that. But by reinforcing it outside in a positive way with a treat, say, right when they're doing their
it's
potty,
the right thing to do.
Yeah. And you're going to get a much better result quicker when you do it that way.
Why poop in the house if you can do it outside and get something?
Yeah. And that's why I always do that whole thing. And what they tell the neighbor dog, hey, I got this cool gig. If you hold it until you get outside, and then when you're doing it, they give you a treat.
It's awesome, man.
It's awesome. You got to try it over on your side, kind of a thing. It makes sense. You're like, oh yeah. So that's positive, really reinforcing them to go outside. The no and all that kind of stuff is a little confusing. Now, if you're trying to prevent biting, yeah, I want all biting to stop. Well, and they can do that. Or I'm trying to prevent barking. That's you want all barking to stop, But pottying, well, you don't want all potting to stop. You want them to potty when they need to, but I want it outside. Okay. So maybe that's a great way.
And the rolling over thing, one thing I did want to bring up, because I know I remember this from last time, is that you mentioned your lap, and that would work for small to mid-sized dogs. But if you have a large breed, how would you recommend?
For large breeds to work with people on training, I've had it off to the side. So I can do small and medium breeds, like on the couch. I always say, first step is to roll them over and get them used to that.
And they will squirm too.
They'll squirm.
They don't want to be on their back.
Good point. I'm glad you brought that out, because when that occurs, you've got to take control. You're not hurting them or anything like that by having them on their back. So but what they're trying to do is saying, you're not in charge. Just like their mom would not let them go back on their feet. Mom would keep on rolling them over and going, no, I told you to stop, and I mean stop now. You have to be that assertive. If they roll over, if you roll them over on their back and their belly is up and they're on their lap and then they just squirm right over, they're pretty much telling you, I don't care what you say. I'm doing it my way. So you have to show them that you're in charge. You're the alpha. A lot of people have used that approach, saying, oh, we're the alpha of the pack and all that kind of stuff. It's a good analogy. I get it. And so you have to say, I am the alpha. You're not allowed to roll over on your feed until I say so, kind of a thing. And now you're getting their attention at that point. And you'll notice they'll look right up at you and go, this is a little different for you. What's going on? Has things changed? You know, kind of thing. But you need to be assertive. Do not let them roll over on their own, and they will try. My little Susie, 1.5 pounds, she was so wiggly when I brought her home. I put her belly up. It is easier to do this for a puppy than it is an adult dog. But she was just going crazy while I had her on my lap and her belly up, and I was holding her by her front shoulders is the best way to say it. I had my hands around her shoulders. And so she was not able to turn around. She tried. I even turned the TV on, so I got distracted because she got a little like, rah, 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 you know, kind of a thing. And I'm like, I'm just going to ignore you. And in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes, she settled down. As soon as she settled down for about 5 to 10 seconds, because she was so assertive herself, I then flipped her over and put her down and said, okay. Next day, she settled down a lot quicker within 5 minutes, and she laid there for about a minute, and then I let her get up. The third
was
day,
this to stop barking, by the way?
No, this was just to show that I was alpha.
Okay,
you know, I'm the mom, you know, kind of a thing. I'm in charge. You want everybody in your house to do this, by the way. It's not just you. You want everybody in the house to do the same technique. And the third day, she settled down within minutes and fell asleep. And that's really what you're looking for, that kind of approach where I am going to listen to what you're saying. You know what? I'm just going to give up as far as that goes, and I'm just going to enjoy this time. Yeah. To this day, my whole family, when they pick Susie up, they immediately cradle her like a baby. Now they're doing it because it's cute and all that kind of stuff. But at the beginning, it was showing that we were in charge.
And we've demonstrated this on the air. And I can tell you that it is tempting to flip them back over when they start crying, because you're like, oh, I feel bad. They don't like this. But being you gotta stay with it, because we've done it before on the show, and it does work. The dog eventually does calm down, and sometimes they'll even go to sleep. So
yeah, and they will just keep doing it. And I just do one training a day. They're just like us, you know, they get tired of all that kind of work and all that, or whatever it is, because it's difficult or whatever. So I always say, don't do marathon training events. Just do the first day. It might just be 5 minutes. If you're doing the rollover, okay, maybe 20 minutes, but all you're doing is holding them there. But those 5-minute trainings going forward are great. Even when you're just training them to sit, stay calm, all that, to do short snippets. It's so much easier on you, and it's easier on the dog as well.
So that's a good step, at least to get things started there with training your dog, is to get the flipped over and on their back, because they don't like it, and you are being the alpha. We are almost out of time for this segment here, because I know you got to get in the Nutro MAX too. Anything else you want to mention on this topic, though, as we wrap
I think
up?
We'll just continue on the conversation and just keep on bringing it forward and using it into more detail, a little bit more on the barking, a little bit more on the potty training, a little bit more on the biting, you know, kind of a thing. So 3 main reasons that people say, I don't like my dog, and we'll address those 3 issues.
All right. It's what is it? Barking, biting, and what's the other one?
Potty train.
Oh, potty. Okay. And so as we get ready to wrap up, we always feature a food, almost always feature a food. It's always good to find out about these brands. So tell us about Nutro MAX.
We love reviewing the different foods out there that we have in the store, because they're premium brands. Are they more expensive than what you're going to see in the grocery market? Yeah. But you're going to feed half as much. So a lot of times it's actually cheaper to feed the premium brands. In this case, it is Max dog food. You're going to feed half as much as all those grocery brands. It's made by Nutro. Nutro makes 3 different brands. Max, which is the product that they mean for all dogs. Then they came out with Natural Balance. For those with some allergies, Natural Balance was a great tool to use if you've got some skin and coat type issues or whatever. And then they came out with Ultra for those people that want that more holistic. I want 3 types of proteins. I want all the grain and all that. It was that holistic approach where it's the whole of everything. So Max is the one that they designed for all dogs. And that's 90% of us out there. Max would be a great food. it's economical. And why is it economical? Because it does use some of the grains and stuff in the food, but it's the more digestible grains. In the grocery market, they use the less digestible grains. Those are the cheap grains. That's why it is less expensive. In Nutro MAX, they use the parts of the grain that are digestible so that you're going to see less poop as a result. If it's not digestible, that means it just went right through me, or the dog or the cat. So Nutro MAX for dog and then the Nutro MAX for cat both have a higher nutritional value in it compared to the other brands. It has proteins for chicken, lamb, and beef. So it's got some really good protein products in there. It has let's see. So, the supplements that are in all of these foods, the omega-3s, the fatty acids, that is what reduces the shedding on your dog. So if you're concerned about the shedding in your house, Max is a great entry point into premium brands because it has all those supplements that will actually reduce the shedding. For large breed, they throw in glucosamine and chondroitin for better joint care. So they've made this brand economical for all of us to use, but it's still that premium grade, really digestible. So you're going to feed less of it. Your dog is going to do better on it. Your cat is going to do better on the cat food. And we love going, wow, and I love the price on it. And at Petland, we do a buy 10 over time. We track it for you. Get one free. So buy 10, get one free is a great way to utilize Petland for your food because it's a benefit. And we're not upping the price on anything to get that to go through. We actually go back to the manufacturer and say, hey, we sold 10 of them for this customer. We would like one free for that customer. And they support us on that. And
nice.
We appreciate that.
All right, Nutro MAX. Go check it out at Petland of Iowa City. That's all we have for the show. It's been a busy one, as always. We always appreciate all you listeners who tune in and learn about pets here on KXIC. It's the PAWSitively Petland show on AM 800 KXIC. Anything else you want to add?
Yeah, if what we talked about on training was a little confusing because it is tough sometimes to just talk about it, come on in and we'll work with you and your dog and put some ideas out there. We always say try 1 or 2 ideas a week. Don't go crazy and get 15 of them and do all 15. The dog will get confused. But we'll help you through that process.
Pets are welcome at Petland of Iowa City, no doubt. That's Ron Salzer. I'm Jay Capron. Until next week, bye.